And what's up, everybody? We're back with another episode of the Live, Laugh, Left podcast. Back again. Gary's here. Hello? Okay, Gary's here.
Hi. He lagged a little bit.
Oh, Drew. Got a lot to talk about this week. Well, yeah, we do. NASCAR's back in business. We're going to go over everything that happened in Daytona. Gary and I went on another hockey trip, so we're going to cover that. And we've got a few other things to go over as well. So, before we do all that, though, I've got another piece of trivia for you. Gary, are you ready?
Sure.
This one is a NASCAR-related trivia for the start of the season. What is the record for most cautions in a NASCAR race? You only have to say the number, but if you know the race that it happened in, bonus points.
I'm going to say 20.
Incorrect.
20.
The most ever was 27. That was the I still call it. It was then called the Busch Series at a race in Memphis. Was that happened? David Ruderman won that race, by the way. The most cautions in a Cup race, 22. 2005 Coke 600. Okay, anyways, we are back with another week. We're going to start from the top this week. We went bottom up last week and go top down this week, really because there's not a whole lot to talk about football related, with football being officially in the off season. Only have one piece of news, and it was actually something we should have covered last week, but I forgot about it. Dan Skipper's back to the Lions. Woo! As a coach. He got hired as the lineman coach for the Lions. So, good stuff there. So, glad to keep him around. That's all I had for football. Basketball. It's been a rough week for basketball. MSU has not been doing so hot, men or women. For the men, they got their ass beat by Wisconsin, 92-71. So with another loss, they have fallen to 15th in the AP poll, and things are looking bleak as they get closer to being 500 in conference play. The women aren't doing much better. They got their ass beat by UCLA, 86-63. And then they went on the road to play Michigan and got their ass beat again, 86-65. So they also dropped 5 spots as a result. They are now number 18. Still on the cusp of hosting an NCAA tournament round, though, because they are still 15th in the net. And somehow Minnesota, despite being unranked, is 9th in the net. Explain that. But only a few games left for both teams as we get near the end of February. It's going to be a pretty tough race. MSU should be fine their next couple of games. The women, though, or the men should be fine the next couple of games. The women, though, they should be fine tonight's game against, will be tonight's game when this video comes out, against Northwestern. The last 2 games, though, at the aforementioned Minnesota and then Ohio State at home, could drop both of those and end the season 2-6. It would be. That would not be good. But who knows? Maybe they'll get their shit together. Other NCAA action. There was a coach firing. Jerome Tang got fired from Kansas State after an outburst in the locker room, as well as only one conference win this season. So, sucks to suck, loser.
You know what I found out also? That their basketball arena is connected to their football arena.
Kansas State? Not
I
surprised.
didn't know that.
Not surprised. Easterns is like that too. I don't know any others.
Isn't Wisconsin's like that too?
I don't know. Wisconsin's not. There are, I think that's a commonality with smaller schools. I guess it's a bit insulting to call Kansas State a smaller school, but they are not usually that prominent.
Big 12 is kind of small if you think about it. They used to be a big school with like Baylor and stuff like that, but now that Baylor got kicked out, I think. If I'm not mistaken, Baylor got kicked out.
No, they didn't get kicked out. They're still there. They just suck.
Oh, well, that.
All right, now on to pro action. The Pistons are on the right now we're in the middle of, or about to end the NBA All-Star break, so not a whole lot to go over for the Pistons. They did release the suspensions from the fight when they played against the Hornets. Jalen Duren was suspended 2 games. Each of these have already been one of these games. Each of these players have already served 1 game of their suspensions. Well, for the Pistons at least. I don't know about the other ones, but Jalen Duren was suspended for 2 games. Musa Diabate and Miles Bridges were both suspended 4 games. And Isaiah Stewart was suspended 7 games. So that puts Isaiah Stewart coming back in the beginning of March, while puts Isaiah Stewart coming back in the beginning of March. Jalen Duren will be back next week, so Pistons should be fine. And their first game without Stewart or Duren, they did that just fine, as they beat the Raptors 113-95 on the road before heading into the All-Star break. So Pistons should be fine. They've already crossed 40 wins on the year, so they should be just fine with 1 more game without Duren and then another 5 without Stewart. So I got a couple general NBA news to talk about as well. Chris Paul announced that he is officially retired after 21 seasons in the NBA. He was there for a long time, went through some gruesome injuries and some brutal conference championship losses, both with the Clippers and then with Houston, and then he kind of sucked after he left Houston, but he kind of didn't. He went with the Suns, and then, yeah. But he's officially retired, so State Farm is his new home. But another star, Kevin Durant's burner accounts got leaked today. Yeah, so apparently this has happened before, but it happened again. Kevin Durant made a burner account online and he was in some group chats shitting on his own team. It was really funny, pretty explicit, so I'm not going to read it here, but it was pretty freaking funny. There's been really nothing. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, if you guys haven't figured it out by now, KD is not a great teammate. Great player, not a great teammate. Is it really hard to see why? I wish he hadn't gone to Golden State and then he would have still never won a ring. But alas. And Garry's gone. And Garry's back. So that was all the basketball action that I had, though. They'll fire up again next week with the NBA coming back from the All-Star break and everything. Hockey is also still on their break with the Olympics, so nothing. And MSU did have a bye this past week, so nothing for MSU or the Red Wings. But Garry does have some K-Wings results to go over.
Yes, I do. So the K-Wings, they were on their series with the Iowa Heartlanders, um, who are last place in their division. The Iowa Heartlanders are not doing so hot this year. On February 12th, the K-Wings beat them 7-3. And then February 13th, the K-Wings got beat by the Heartlanders 5-2. And then on the 14th, the K-Wings lose again to the Heartlanders, so they lose that series against them, which is very crucial because their next game for the K-Wings, the Cincinnati Cyclones, which, if you look at it this way, the Cyclones right now 1 point ahead of the K-Wings right now. And then the K-Wings are only 7 spots from the last playoff position. So, or 7 points, my bad, from the playoff spot. So, if the K-Wings are going to make the playoffs this year, I'd start it now. Starting in 2 days, it has to start. It has to get the train going.
Definitely.
So.
The only other thing that we have to talk about this week from hockey was our most recent hockey trip that we took. Me and Garry did along with Eli. It was originally supposed to be Jeffy joining us, but then Jeffy scheduled a trip with his family around it, and so Eli went instead. But we went up this past weekend to Ferris State, where we saw, we were going to go up there see hockey, and we also explored the campus. Got a pin. Me and Garry each got a pin. My dad got a shot glass. I got a shot glass from my dad, I should say. There's the pin. So it was not a super large or long trip. Only a few hours we were gone. Well, a little more than that. But gotta say, Ferris State was kind of the last super big campus in Michigan that I hadn't seen yet, including the northern one, the ones in the UP I'd even visited for the most part. But Ferris I just never gone to. And I realized why. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. But it was not pretty nice campus, all things considered. It wasn't, it's not big by any means. It's easily walkable in like a half hour, 45 minutes, depending on how fast you go. And there's not really a whole lot to do there, which I knew going in. That's why we didn't leave till closer to the afternoon, because it was even though it was a 2-hour drive up there. I mean, we got there, we parked, and then we walked to this bookstore to get some pins, and then we walked to Taco Bell, ate Taco Bell, walked back to the car, made a pit stop at the car, then walked to the arena. And then we realized that there was a lot closer to the arena that we could park at. And I will not declare here that I didn't get a ticket, not because I got one put on my car. So here's a fun story, actually. And so this has a happy ending, so there's not going to be a rant on this, and you'll see why in a minute. So I guess I'll tell this story here. Anyways, the night before we're supposed to leave for Ferris, I get home from work, and there's some mail on the counter for me. And I'm like, oh, what's this? Well, I go to check it out. Turns out when we went to Toledo, over 2 weeks ago now, I got a ticket. And you know, I paid $6.30 to park for the basketball game, Toledo basketball game. Guess how much the ticket was for? $44 fucking dollars. $44. What the fuck? Everyone, so you want to know the reason why I got a parking ticket? My license plate was obstructed from drive-by. Apparently, at Toledo, you're not allowed to park backwards. What? But they still had the fucking audacity to walk around my car and take a picture of my license plate, clear as day. But no, wasn't enough, apparently. Still had to give me a fucking ticket. Here's the other kicker. They put the post date of the citation on the sheet. And you have 10 days from that issue date to pay. Otherwise, I guess your car gets fucking impounded or something. I don't know what the fuck it would happen. But you know when the issue date was? February 6th. I got that in the mail on the 13th. They gave me barely over 48 hours to pay that fucking fine. But I wasn't going to pay that shit. $44 because I didn't want to have to back out of a potentially busy parking lot? Fuck that. I put an appeal. But you know what? It takes 48 hours to hear on an appeal. I only had 48 hours left till my car potentially would get seized. That's how they get ya. Good news is, that's why it's not going to be a rant on this. The good news, they upheld my appeal. I am not paying any parking tickets. We're good. They gave me their one-time exception. Like I'm ever going back there. Fuck you, Toledo. I got a pin from you. I don't need to go back.
We got this. We got this. We saw the K-Wings destroy the walleye, and we got this. Okay? Nothing else.
No, I don't need to go back. I don't need to go back to that fucking university ever again in my goddamn life.
No wonder it's a suckish Mac school.
Fuck you, is what I say. I'm not paying any of your stupid parking tickets. Anyway. Also, if you were going to give me a ticket, you couldn't just put the ticket on my car. Instead, you had to go back to your office, print off a piece of paper, and then take a fucking 2 ass weeks to mail it. The fuck?
Tyler got so angry he needed a sip.
Anyway, that's why I'm not going to declare that I didn't get a ticket from Ferris yet, because at the time of recording this, it's only been a couple days. Chances are they'll probably fucking mail one to me, because nobody does actual fucking tickets on people's cars anymore, apparently. Because I thought we were good, because I asked, because Ann had been to Ferris a few months before this for hockey, and I was like, oh, where'd you park? She said, yeah, I parked at the football stadium. Well, we get to the football stadium, and the lot is labeled as commuter, not as visitor, per what my plate registration when I registered for the guest pass said. So I'm like, oh shit, is this what this means by visitor? Couldn't find any information about it on the website. Website was unhelpful as fuck, and it wouldn't let me log in to even see what was available. Oh, whatever. So fuck that. But I mean, again, I didn't get anything at the time, so I think we're okay. But after that, we walked. We saw the football stadium. They had an ungodly amount of pop just sitting in their ticket office, which was weird. Then we walked and we got a pin. Pin wasn't that expensive, all things considered. We watched Taco Bell. That was good. We walked back and stopped by the car. Still
Let
no
me
ticket.
just say though, people at Taco Bell, at Ferris, even Tyler can say, they have the best Baja Blast. It is the gun of the nectar.
Yeah, it was good. It was very sweet, which was contradictory, which just kind of felt like it was an overcompensation for my trip to Taco Bell the night before when the CO2 was out. So I couldn't eat. Again, why the fuck? How do you run out of CO2 in 2026? How the hell do you run out? Go, there's construction just down the street. Get some fucking CO2 from out of there. So I didn't even get to have Baja Blast. I'd have the worst Gatorade I've ever had in my life. But anyway, felt like a bit of an overcompensation. But it's okay. We walked back to the car and dropped some stuff off. And then we walked to the game. And there was a lot closer to the arena that said visitor. And so I was thinking, oh shit, we are in the wrong lot. Well, I don't want to get ticketed, but I really don't want to walk all the way back to the car. We're going to do it. And I was convinced by Garry and Eli to do it. So we walked back to the car, and then I drove the car up to the lot, and then we were good. Then we went to the game. Now, the arena, you'll see a review. Well, the vlog's already out, and you'll see the review, I think, comes out tomorrow at the time of this going up. So you can kind of see what we were talking about. Now, the arena was pretty nice, all things considered. It's very small. The hockey arena, basketball arena, and the volleyball arena are all in the same building, connected by one L-shaped hallway, which was interesting. It makes for some weird configurations, particularly the hockey arena, where one whole side of the arena has no seats at all. It's just the locker rooms and the benches in the tunnel. And then behind the nets, you've got the student section, and then you've got the other side where we were sitting, and then you've got the side facing the benches. Very small, though. It only went up like between 11 to 13 rows, depending on where you were sitting. Felt more like a youth, like rec room area than anything else. It reeked of chlorine. I don't know if you could smell that when we were in there, Garry. It reeked of chlorine.
I told Eli. I told Eli when we first got in there. I was like, "Why does it smell like a freaking swimming pool?"
And then in our section in particular, I couldn't tell if it was anything anywhere else around the arena. There were 3 Wi-Fi routers just like dangling by one cord from the ceiling. I don't know if that was actually Wi-Fi routers or not, but that was a little funky. But yeah, I got to take a little bit of a peek into the basketball arena and the volleyball arena. They both just look like high school gyms. So there's that. But the concourse was pretty nice, if you can call it a concourse. I mean, it was just an L-shaped hallway. They had some nice trophies out from their championships, which was cool. They had some football championship trophies, and then if you turned past the volleyball arena, if you went down to the end of the hallway, took a left past the volleyball arena, there were more trophies. There was like volleyball trophies and cross country trophies and more football trophies and basketball stuff and hockey stuff and all sorts of stuff down that hallway. And then you could go and see the team offices for the athletic department, and you could see there was a place where it was all the Ferris players that went to the NFL, and you could see their jerseys and stuff for where they got drafted and all that stuff. So that was pretty cool to walk down. It was nice. So, But that was, I mean, the basis of it all, I should say. I mean, also, cheap-ass concession prices was $3 for a bottle of water. Where do you get that nowadays? Man. And it was $3 for nachos as well, which we didn't get. We didn't get any food at the arena because we had Taco Bell beforehand. But I did get a water. The water was fine. The chips and cheese though for $3, steal. Absolute steal. But anyway, again, I have more thoughts about the arena in the review, and stuff, and you can watch the vlog and kind of see what we're talking about. But the game itself was pretty lackluster. Ferris was coming in with 6 wins, and Northern Michigan was coming in with 3 wins, and it was a blowout. Ferris is bad, but Northern is even worse. They might be the worst. Ferris blew them out 6-0, and it was never really that close because Northern Michigan could not get anything going on offense whatsoever. Sad fact as well, this was Ferris's first series win of the season. Also, it was their senior night. 22 players on their roster. Guess how many of them graduating this year? 13.
Oh, don't worry. If you guys don't know, I have it right here.
13 seniors out of 22 players on their roster. They'll barely have enough players to fill a fucking roster next season. If they don't get anybody, obviously. They'll probably get freshmen coming in, like some recruits, or they'll probably get a couple transfers. But still, losing over half your roster just to graduation is insane. So yeah, the game was never really that close. We ended up leaving a couple minutes early, just to get home. But overall, it was a fun time. Campus again, not like super elaborate, but it was nice. The game was fun. The arena's cool. Will I go back? Probably not. The only way I'd probably go back to Ferris, I wouldn't even go for like a basketball game. The only thing I'd probably go back for is a football game. Once they finish the renovations that we saw they're doing on the football stadium. But even then, it would be a stretch, just because there is nothing to do at Ferris besides go to a sporting event. I mean, hell, the fucking Jim Crow Museum was closed. Ann said that was really cool. Oh, turns out it was closed. Thank you, Ann Pomeroy, on that one. Oh well, it was fun. I can't complain. So, what do you think, Gary? What do you think of the experience?
I think it was good. For a D1 hockey team and a D2 football team, or I'm just going to call it a D2 school. It's not that bad. It'd be something like I said to Tyler and Eli, I would go to this college if I went to college. Because all the sporting events are just walking distance.
Well, Gary, sorry to say, that's the case for most colleges.
Not most colleges.
Most colleges you can walk to their sporting events from like your dorm or whatever.
Not my sister's old dorm. When she went to college at Western, she had to drive.
Well, that's one school. All right, anyway. That was all the hockey action. So we'll move on to baseball. Yes, folks, baseball season is once again upon us. Spring training is starting this weekend for the MLB. I don't think we're going to do score updates and recaps of the spring training games, just because they don't really
We don't
mean it.
do.
They don't really mean anything, so we're not going to do anything for that. If something big happens, like an injury or something, we'll touch on it, but don't really need to do much otherwise with that. But in other news, the college baseball season, the college baseball regular season, has begun. So because I do have a whole section here for baseball, even though I don't really follow it that much, we are going to cover MSU this year. And because I didn't really feel like covering it, I decided to give the task to Garry. So I'm going to let Garry cover the first series of the year for MSU baseball.
So, first week of MSU baseball seemed pretty good. You know, going into it, people are very upset that we have this manager that we have for some reason, that we had an extension on him.
Jake Boss.
He proved them wrong. He proved them wrong in the first week.
Well, I don't know about that.
Because you want to know what happened? Game 1 against number 8 Louisville beat them 4.
Nope. Louisville did not want him to say that. Louisville didn't want him to say it.
Who did it? Who did it?
Nobody did it. What are you talking about?
Someone put me in the Cheddar voice chat.
That was funny as shit.
Anyway, MSU wins 4-2-3 game 1, and then game 2 MSU will upset Louisville again, this time 13-4. But then game 3 Louisville beat Michigan State 9-1. In total, MSU put up 18 runs versus 16 against Louisville, which is good.
Yeah, it's really good.
So,
it's really good. Top 10 upset series win. Really good start to the year for MSU baseball.
and if you guys didn't know, MSU baseball does do a little crosstown showdown with the Lansing Lugnuts. So, Lugnuts, you might want to be on the lookout.
Maybe so. Garry, don't do shaky shakes. Okay, that's all the baseball stuff that we had. That's pretty much all we had in total, except for one more thing. NASCAR's back, baby. Daytona has happened. Man, what an action-packed weekend it was down in Daytona. For the duels, I didn't get... So the only race I actually watched was the Daytona 500 itself. I didn't get the chance to watch anything else. The duels, though, from what I saw in the highlights, were pretty good. Duels were good. Some big crashes. Surprisingly, a lot of trouble with drivers trying to merge back into traffic with pit stops and whatnot. But also some last-minute caution flags, which caused some shakeups on race day when a lot of drivers had to go to backup cars. Truck race was pretty good too. Cletus McFarland and Tony Stewart both in it. Everybody was excited to see what they could do, and they ended up being the first two drivers out of the race due to crashes. That was pretty disappointing. Especially Cletus McFarland, who ran like 5 laps and then crashed. And then Tony Stewart didn't go much longer. And then what he did do didn't really do a whole lot. So that was unfortunate. But we move on. The rest of the race happened, and then we had a 4-wide finish at the end. Chandler Smith ended up getting the win the night after barely missing out on the Daytona 500. And he gets the truck win in a 4-wide photo finish, which was insane. So good job there, Chandler Smith. Xfinity, I'm still calling it Xfinity. I don't want to call it the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. But that was good too. Some good stuff there. Some big crashes and another win. Boring win. Thought, once again they teased us. Oh, some other driver's gonna win. Oh, we're gonna have an upset win. Oh, we're gonna do all this. Only for fucking Austin Hill to win again. Fucking RCR dominance. Good race, terrible finish. Okay, now the Daytona 500 itself. Rain was in the forecast for the 800th straight year, it feels like. Because you know what? When you run a race in middle afternoon on Florida, you're going to have to deal with rain. Who would have thought? So they moved it up an hour, only to then wait 45 minutes past the start time to actually start the race. They moved it up to 1:30, didn't even start until 2:15. Gotta love those commercials, do ya? There was a pretty big crashes here and there. It was a bad day for William Byron. He got caught up in like 4 accidents. BJ McLeod wrecked out early. Then there was another smaller accident. Took out a couple guys. Took out Connor Zillage. Took out Chase Briscoe, the outside pole sitter. And Austin Dillon, who's like, yeah, everybody's wrecking in front of me. There's a car sliding off the pit road. Let me go hit it. He peels off towards pit road and T-bones Chase Briscoe. That was funny. The biggest crash of the day up until the end was one of the worst blocks I have ever seen in my life when Justin Allgaier put Denny Hamlin and himself in the wall and then caused a 20-car pileup in the front stretch. Still don't know what Justin Allgaier was thinking there. I would think Justin Allgaier, a guy who has been racing in the Xfinity Series for the longest time, has lots of Cup experience, and his boss is Dale Earnhardt Jr., one of the best restrictor plate drivers ever. And if you make a block like that, what are you thinking?
At least he said it was his fault. He didn't just be like a regular NASCAR person say, "Oh, it's the other guy's fault. He should have not came into me." Da, da, da. He's like, "No, it was my fault. I'm full blame."
That is true. That is true. He did take responsibility. Nope, we're good. I'm back. Anyway, then the rain was coming, so they started fuel saving. God, I hate fuel saving on restrictor plate racetracks. Have I made that clear? I think it's stupid. I think it's the worst part about this new car is that the one lug nut makes the pit stop shorter, and then they fuel mileage all day long. I hate it.
Oh, and I hate stages.
So I think this is now a good time to bring up who we picked in fantasy for this week. We picked Michael McDowell. Michael McDowell, kind of an underdog pick, somebody that we wouldn't really take much throughout the season. But he is a past 500 winner, so we thought, probably worth taking him. He did jack shit all day. He got caught up in the 20-car pileup, but didn't get that much damage. Was still on the lead lap, but he wasn't really doing shit. Kind of hanging around in the back. He did get stage points in stage 1. That helped. He got stage points. But didn't really do anything else otherwise. Until the final round of pit stops. Everybody came down for green flag pit stops. Everybody. Except for Michael McDowell. Michael McDowell was putzing around the racetrack all by himself. Had a half a track lead on the rest of the pack. What was he doing? Was he just going to stretch it? Was he going to hope for a caution? Was he about to pit? Who knows? If he was hoping for a caution, he would get it when Denny Hamlin and Christopher Bell crashed late in the race, which set up a late restart with McDowell. You know, everybody was like, oh, McDowell's going to pit. McDowell's going to pit. You know, he's going to get fuel back in his car. Nope. They somehow were able to stretch the tank over 60 laps. I still don't know how they did that. But they did, and that was crazy. Anyways, McDowell is in the lead, folks. McDowell's in the lead, and guess who's behind him? His teammate, Carson Hocevar. And I'm starting to think McDowell's actually going to win this fucking race, because Carson Hocevar was playing the best defense that I have ever seen anybody play in my life. He was blocking 3 lanes of traffic, keep McDowell out front. I'm like, holy shit, this guy's going to be a great teammate. Maybe he's finally turned a corner. And then McDowell decides on a late block to not stay with his teammate. Instead comes down to cover William Byron. That gives the spot to Carson Hocevar. And they take the white flag. And guess what happens? And they all crash. Hocevar got bumped. Crash ensues. McDowell's out. Fantasy pick gone. But the race is still on. NASCAR, for the love of God, listened to us for once and didn't throw a caution. They let them race. So now, Chase Elliott's out front. Fucking Chase Elliott's out front, trying to win the goddamn Daytona 500. You got Zane Smith behind him. And then they come out of turn 4. Here comes Tyler Reddick. Huge fucking run. Riley Herbst is with him. Brad Keselowski's with him. And a few others. Reddick makes a move for the inside, but here comes Brad Keselowski, storming up the outside. Might have a chance to win the 500 for the first time. Nope, here comes Riley Herbst, comes up all the way across the track, puts Keselowski in the wall to save his teammate. Everybody else crashes. Reddick wins the Daytona 500.
I don't hate Tyler Reddick win.
No, I like it. It was a good win.
I like Tyler Reddick. If Chase Elliott has to lose, just don't let it be Logano.
Well, it wasn't Logano. Logano crashed on the last lap, as did pretty much everybody else in the field besides Tyler Reddick. It was a great finish to a pretty great race. I was surprised they even got it in with the rain. But no overtime as well. I was really happy they didn't throw a caution on the last lap. So it was done very, 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 very well. I was very happy with it all. So that was that. The dual winners were Joey Logano won Duel 1 and Chase Elliott won Duel 2. So Logano was already locked in the New Year's Eve Spectacular by virtue of being a past champion, but Chase Elliott, with his dual win, became the 9th driver to secure a spot in the race this year.
Hey! I know. It's the 9th person? Hey!
Sorry about my water bottle. I don't know why it fucking makes that noise. I gotta put WD-40 on my water bottle.
It's metal.
And then Tyler Reddick, with his Daytona 500 win, also got a spot in the New Year's Eve Spectacular. So we're up to 10 drivers after week 1. 10 drivers in it. So, very cool. So, Tyler Reddick, good for him too. Went winless in 2025. Already on the win column in 2026. I would also like to point something out. Zane Smith wins trucks. Front Row Motorsports car, or truck, Front Row Motorsports. Austin Hill, RCR. Tyler Reddick, 2311. You know what all those three teams have in common? They all got court cased by NASCAR this past offseason. How fucking symbolic is it?
NASCAR is scripted.
But after the whole thing with the court case and the slander and the resignations and all that we had a front row truck, an RCR car, and a 2311 car all win in one weekend, right as the season starts.
I bet you the sentence was, so you guys win also this next Daytona 500 and Xfinity and truck. You guys will win the race. Or concerned. That means they have to win.
I like to point that out. That was good. I really, really, really thought that was funny. Oh
Jesus! I burped and yawned at the same time. What the?
So besides that, not a whole lot else that happened in NASCAR. A couple things. Kyle Larson got a contract extension through 2031. And Jimmy Johnson announced that the 2027 Daytona 500 will be officially his final NASCAR start.
Finally, that bitch is out of here.
Yep, he gone for good.
Finally, now I can only just see him in owner mode.
So there's that. And now that we have our own topics server, topics channel, Garry can finally keep track of our poker chip standings once and for all.
What I'll do is next podcast, I will try to get all of the races or all of the haven't delayed them yet. All of the poker chip winnings. I'll try to look them up and see who won. But we'll have to find out. But anyways, this week Tyler wins with Chase Elliott. Because Chase Elliott finished 4th and Kyle Busch, like I knew what would happen, finished 16th. So that means we gotta pick new ones.
Oh, that's true. We got to preview Atlanta. Oh shit. Yeah, they're going to Atlanta this weekend. You know what? We're not gonna do fucking predictions. We're not gonna do Xfinity and Cup and truck predictions. We're just gonna do poker chips.
Right.
New iteration of the podcast. We don't focus on NASCAR as much. We're just gonna do the Cup poker chips. All right, here we go.
All right, so I'll go first since I lost. Usually the loser will go first. So I'm gonna put Chase Elliott in there since you had Chase Elliott last time. And I can't pick Kyle Busch again. So yay.
Cool. I'll let you win one for once.
I probably won't win. The one time
I want to make it. I want to let everybody know. We are going to work on getting Garry more poker chips at some point. Garry, I will give you money so that you can buy more poker chips at the MIS race because I'm not going to be there. So that you get more poker chips, so we have more drivers to pick from.
Dude, when last time I was there, they didn't have them.
Well, shit. Well, might have to order some then.
I'm probably just going to have to look up online to see if they have any NASCAR number purchase, but here's your pick.
All right.
Two good picks. Two good picks for both of us.
Not
Both
bad
have
picks
won
at all.
there before.
That is true. Not bad at all. Alright, guys. Well, that's going to do it, I think, for this week's episode. A bit shorter. Not a whole lot going on. We'll recap Atlanta next week, as well as the other sports that jump back into action. And we'll do some other fun stuff, too. So, that's going to do it for this episode. Stay tuned for other much more amazing content, including stuff on the Pringleson YouTube channel. And until next time, me and Gary, see you guys later. Bye.